Hey, hello, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today. This is Mark Soberman with NetPicks. Really happy to have everybody here. I'll go ahead and jump on the webcam real quick and just be able to look you in the eye and say hello as well. And Mike will jump on his in a moment here. So hey, Mark Soberman here, founder of NetPicks way back in 1996. And there's Mike Rixey there as well, and we'll be presenting here today, the NASDAQ Options Superstars. How's it going today, Mike?
The environment couldn't be any better for what we like to do, and pretty excited to share with you the new NASDAQ Option Superstars program today.
So with that, let's go ahead and start the formal presentation. I'll jump off the webcam here, Michael as well, and we can get started. All right, so you guys should be able to see the screen, and you know that what we're here to talk about is really creating an income with options, and in particular, focusing on what we're calling the NASDAQ Options Superstars, because this is really where the great opportunity is, we feel, in options trading today. And that doesn't mean just technology stocks, as you'll see as we move along. There's great tech stocks, of course, to trade in the NASDAQ, but there's some really other great sectors and niches that we can pull from in the NASDAQ that's just creating great opportunity for us. And then, of course, the whole key here is doing it in less than 5 minutes per day. Everybody here listening, I'm sure, can spend just a few minutes per day. It gets tougher if we're asking you to commit to an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, and we're not doing that at all. It's just 5 minutes a day or less. So that's what we want to kind of roll out to you here today. And let's go ahead and move on. All right, full disclosure, obviously we just want to make sure that everybody understands we're going to be talking about specific trades. There's risk in trading. There is leverage that's used with options. The great thing about options, it's very controlled compared to other markets. But again, we all know, right, we're all adults, that there's winners and there's losers in our system as well. And you just want to make sure that you understand what those risks are in trading. Now, simple questions for all of you. I would like you all to give me a yes on this, whether you verbally say it, whether you yell it out, whether you type it into the QA, go ahead and do that. I'll ask you a few questions. Think about this. Would you be interested in trading options in 5 minutes a day or less? How about targeting 100% returns on every single trade that you take? How about not having to learn a brand new system, more indicators, more complicated charting, or another complicated system? And imagine having a life and trading successfully. So can I ask, is that a yes? Are you in? Say it out loud. Give me a yes. I know I'd be in. I'm in right now. And type it into the chat as well if you're ready to commit to that, because this is what we're going to share with you today. So let me give you a quick introduction. Most of you know probably a lot about us. A lot of you have been with us for a long time. But just a really quick background. I'm very proud of the fact that I founded the company way back in 1996, actually. We've been doing this for over 23 years. I incorporated the company back in 1997, and we've all been doing this ever since. So that's 23 years of continuous service to active individual traders around the world. We've worked with over 100,000 people, and we have owners of our systems, our training, our courses in 110 plus countries around the world, including some countries that don't even exist anymore, and even new countries that have come along since. It's been a long time. We've done this through all types of market conditions. And one thing that I want to tell you that maybe a lot of people don't know, the very first service ever for NetPicks was options. We started with options. So here we are today, 23 years later, still saying this is the best single individual strategy that everybody, every individual should be trading. You have got to be getting involved in options. There's just simply no question. So it's kind of fascinating, even for me, that 23 years ago, the first alerts that I put out were calls and put options. By the way, via fax, but that's a whole nother story. That's going to really date myself. The NetPicks team, of course, myself, Mark Soberman, Mike Rixey. You'll hear a lot more from him in just a few minutes. Will did amazing programming for us so we can have these great signals, and the rest of the team here working at NetPicks. Everybody trades live in the markets. Everybody is a former customer. So we're really very connected to what it takes to be successful with trading, with options trading, and we're there in the trenches with you every single day. Now, I think it's important you know a little bit about me, but it's really important you know more about Mike, because Mike is the guy. He is the person who created everything that we're both going to share with you here today. Mike's been with us for 13 years, amongst the longest that we've had on staff. He's developed the entire lineup of successful options trading systems that we have, all of our training, all of our options curriculum from day one. So this is the guy. This is the person that if you've been involved with us before in options, this is the person that you've been sharing with and learning from. options fast track, options mastery, options blueprint, anything to do with options. Even more so, he's been trading in the options markets for almost 2 decades. So this is somebody that really walks the walk. For me, this is critical. I don't want to learn from or emulate from somebody who really doesn't do it live in the markets, okay, who's just doing it hypothetically. It's not worthless, but it's close. You want to be following somebody who actually is involved in the markets every single day. And one thing I like to really stress is for Mike, his primary source of income for all this time has been options trading. That's really important as well. So this is somebody who lives and breathes it, but also somebody who actually is in the markets with you every single day, trying to profit just like all of you are. And he's got a mission to always be committed to improving what he's done before. When I met him like 14 some odd years ago, he was already successful trading options. But what has he done over the last 14 years since I've known him? He's constantly tried to improve. He's constantly made new breakthroughs in his trading. He's added to his arsenal to the point that what we present here today is the best that he's ever done. This is the best system, the best setups, and you'll be hearing more from Mike in a moment so you can hear it firsthand. So I always like to give you guys a little bit of a sneak preview because really the fun part is seeing what's possible. So I'm going to share some screenshots. Mike's going to share even more in his presentation, but this is the beauty of options trading. And there's a few things going on in this chart. This is Facebook. This was a trade that we took here just a couple weeks ago, 79% return. I mean, again, think about, are there any other opportunities where you're not using what I call crazy risk, way too much leverage, where you can have 79% returns? There's really not. Look, I trade futures, but I don't have those type of returns on an individual trade. Okay, it might be on my account, 1%, 2% of the account. That's pretty much a standard trade overall. Very, very different on options. The second thing I point you to is in this case, the $275 cost. This is well within the range of any account size. Okay, again, that's a big problem in many other markets. You need to have a bigger account. The nice thing is options scale amazing. So if you have a bigger account, they're perfect. But also if you have a smaller account, they can work extremely well. Here's another example on Baidu. 100% return. Mike's going to explain kind of where these targets come from, why we're doubling up so often. And don't forget, when we see like, you know, the profit $253 per spread, you can trade 2, you can trade 5, you can trade 10. There's tremendous scale as your account grows. This is Costco, so right, non-tech, 67% on this trade. Here's a trade on Google, 100%. And geez, how else can you trade options on Google and it only costs you $275? Good luck buying a call, right? It'll be thousands of dollars typically. And if you're buying the stock, it's you know, way over $100,000. But with the strategy and approach that Mike's going to share, you can actually do it for a few $100. Pretty exciting. This is NVIDIA, another great one to trade, 81% return. And here's a little different chart, but we also trade, and Michael will explain this a bit later, a tactic that we use that we can win 5 different ways. So I know in my personal trading, when I'm trading Forex or futures, there's one way I can win and there's one way I can lose. I don't have the opportunity unless I'm trading options to have a situation where, yeah, there is one way that I might lose, but there's 5 ways that I actually can win. That's extremely exciting when you get involved in these type of setups. So the number one request that we've been receiving from everybody over the years is this. Look, options, I'm convinced. It sounds great. I believe you, Mark. I believe you, Mike, but I need something simpler that takes less time and actually works. What do you guys have? So we hear this question all the time. So, you know, look, I'm a believer in options trading. I tell you all the time, it's our single favorite tactic. It needs to be in everybody's arsenal. If it's not, you need to add it. If you're trading it now, you need to add to it. I think you guys understand that. There's some really amazing advantages to trading options. These are 5 that I've come up with, but you could kind of go on what makes options trading so superior. One, you've got amazing leverage. Look, I know that there's leverage in a lot of other markets too, but there's pretty incredible leverage when it comes to options. You can control, like I said, you know, 100 shares of Google or 500 shares of Google without putting down 6 figures. That's pretty amazing. But equally important, I think, is the controlled risk. Look, I'm a big fan of trading futures, of Forex. I'm involved in all of that. But the difference is it doesn't have nearly the controlled risk that options has. When you buy that contract or that spread, you always know your max risk, and we will lose, typically, we'll risk quite a bit less than that Mike will cover in a little bit. Very big advantage. So to have a leverage, but also have very responsible risk, that's a big deal. For me, I love this, that I can trade household names. it's just much more interesting. I mean, it just is one of those things that keeps me so engaged all these years. When you're able to trade Tesla and Google and Netflix and Starbucks, Alibaba, Costco, and on, names that you probably know, products that you own, things that you use, that you see in the news, it's just more interesting. And I think trading just is made that much better when I kind of understand what's going on in the various markets that I'm trading. I already discussed how you can win 5 different ways. Pretty amazing. I don't know any other type of trading where that's possible. And scaling. This is important because you don't want to go down a road where you start trading something and you max out quickly, like you add a contract or two and all of a sudden there's all kinds of slippage and issues executing. I mean, options are huge. There's tens of thousands of traders out there. There are millions of contracts that are traded. Professional traders everywhere trade and are involved in options. So it's got tremendous liquidity and great scale, and that's really exciting. Plus, new products are being added all the time. There's new companies going public all the time that we then have those brand new opportunities. Now, the reality is, as positive as trading options is, there are some things that go into actually being successful, right? And it can take thousands of hours to develop an effective trading system. First, you need a system that tells you, hey, trade this stock, and you should look for something that's going to profit if it goes up, or profit if it goes down, or profit if it goes sideways. I can tell you in my career here at Epix, I've probably spent tens of thousands of hours developing trading systems. It's tough. That's just kind of the reality of it. You have to have a system that works and works consistently. Then it takes a lot of time, can take hundreds of hours per month to research all the stocks out there. That was, I think, the number 2 feedback that we had from everybody was all of the various stocks that are out there. How do you pick? So again, that's a big job. And then of course, all the stress and strain for picking the right option strategy to get the job done once you've identified the opportunity. So that's the challenge, right? So we have to kind of figure out how to fix all that. So the great news here is, what if we created the ideal option system, we targeted only the top performing stocks, and we handpicked the exact option strategy that you should deploy. And we did all of this for you week in and week out. So you didn't have to spend any of the time that I just described. It'd be pretty great news, I think. Would you all agree? What if it only took 5 minutes per day on top of that? So we're doing all of that work, providing all of that research, giving you the trades, and for you, you're looking at maybe 5 minutes per day because you get to do the fun stuff. You get to actually place the trade, take the trade, and enjoy the rewards and the benefits. What if I could tell you that at the same time, you will never be bored. You will always have plenty of trades, but I'm not going to overwhelm you. We're not going to have way too much. It's not going to give you to the point where you can't manage what you have. We've kind of found the perfect sweet spot, about 3 to 5 trades per week. Gives you regular opportunity, great opportunity to grow your account, but never going to be overwhelming. What if it was super easy to learn? Look, I mean, the last thing anybody needs is something else that's super complicated, that's going to have a huge learning curve, that's going to take forever to start profiting from. What if out of the gate, you could immediately start taking these alerts, start executing these in your account, and start enjoying the upside? Would be really nice. Well, that's exactly what we can bring to you here today with the NASDAQ Options Superstars. That is the solution that we're going to bring to all of you here for the first time ever. And like I mentioned, we're calling it the NASDAQ Options Superstars. And you'll see why we think and we know that these are the true superstars of the markets. To give you an idea of some of the names that we're trading, this is not all of them by any means, but probably most of you recognize virtually all of these names, if not 95% of these. Apple, Netflix, Costco, Nvidia, Roku, right? Micron, Qualcomm, then it goes on and on. It's in tech, it's in retail, it's in biotech, it's in finance. There's so many great opportunities, but we've really narrowed that world down to the best of the best, and new ones are being added on a semi-regular basis. I mean, this is going to be our hyper focus with these trades, and these are the superstars. These are the ones that just for year in and year out have been providing us with profitable opportunities. Now, how do we get these into your hands? We're going to share a lot more about this because this is important. Hey, these trades sound great. I want to get these trades, but how do I get these? And it's all about our ability to alert you in real time, so you can just go ahead and jump into your brokerage platform, place the trade, walk away, you're done, and then you just kind of let the market do what it has to do, and then go ahead and benefit from those trades. So I'm going to share with you some breakthroughs that we're going to provide for the first time ever when it comes to sharing these as well. So I think the best thing to do right now is I'm going to hand it off to Mike, because what Mike's able to do is he'll take you through some examples, show you how the system works a little bit, show you how like he does all the work on the system, but the kind of trades that it's kicking out. And I think this will really start to make a lot of sense what's possible here. So Mike, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you.
All right, sure thing, Mark. I really appreciate that intro. Let me go ahead and get my charts up. I want to make sure everything is showing correctly before we jump into the presentation. Looks like everything is good to go, so let's dive in. First of all, I am just super excited to share with you guys today some of the most powerful returns that I've ever seen in my trading career. Now, that's saying something because I don't tend to be an emotional person. It takes a lot to get me hyped. However, I just can't hide the excitement. I am seeing things in my trading here over the last few months that I've never seen before. I'm getting a higher winning percentage. I'm getting some phenomenal profit numbers. And I'm going to share with you today just how I've been doing it. You'll see all the new tools that we're using. And best of all, I'm going to show you how you can do this in 5 minutes a day, just piggybacking off of these trades. So we'll dive into Amazon here in just a moment. What we did a number of months ago is we went to our customers and we said, tell us what's working for you, what's not, what do you want to see improved in your own trading? And it was very interesting to hear some of that feedback. I was looking at some of those top answers, and it makes sense, the top one on the list. Bottom line, we're all traders. We want to make money, and customers wanted to make more money, right? It makes sense. We're all striving towards bigger profit numbers. Number 2 on the list, and this is actually number 1 on my own personal list, is reduce the amount of time required to trade. People want simple. If you're like us here at NetPicks, you're going a million miles an hour. You're so busy on a daily basis, you just don't have time to sit down and track charts for hours on end. That's what I used to do in my own personal trading. I would literally sit there from opening to closing bell every single day. I am now looking to get in and out in 5 to 10 minutes each day. And it's a crucial change that's made a huge difference in my overall profitability. So the new tools that we developed that you're going to see here today, yes, we want to make more money, but we also want to reduce the time commitment that's required to stay active and generate a really nice return. And then third on the list is how in the world do we navigate the news-driven markets that we're seeing right now? All of the headline risk with the China trade war. All it takes is one tweet out of the Trump administration and this market just goes crazy. It becomes very difficult. Well, as a retail trader, I have no control over the news. I don't. I have no control when those headlines are going to hit, so I don't concern myself with that approach. I'm going to focus on executing my system correctly and controlling my risk. That's all I have control of as a retail trader. So everything that we're going to talk about today addresses the 3 main issues that we heard from many of our customers. So let's dive in and show you how we've been doing it. So let's take a look at Amazon. Let's just take a look at the last 3 trades that we have taken with the system. You'll notice down at the bottom, we've got 2 different histograms. We've got our sentiment indicator down at the very bottom. That's that red and green histogram down here. We've also got our pulse indicator, which is the red and yellow histogram. Those 2 indicators are a big part of how we identify the setups. We also use a couple of moving averages up on top of price action, but the goal here is to keep the chart as clean as possible. Remember, I'm trying to get in and out quickly every day. If I load up too many indicators, it just becomes too difficult to reach that goal. Now, we're looking for a few different types of setups. In the past, I've been a big believer in looking for reversals off of overbought and oversold extremes, and that continues to work really well. Over time, you're going to see phenomenal performance, and that's a part of what we do with this new program. But we've also built in a brand new trend setup that does a great job of identifying those longer term trending moves. Moves like we saw in the fourth quarter last year, like we saw here early this year. We've seen big swings back and forth, and these setups do a great job of allowing us to participate in those runaway moves. Now, this is a 195-minute chart. We've used range based in the charts in the past. What we found out is, for somebody that has a busy work schedule, the range based charts can be difficult. You can get setups at any point during the day. You can have targets and stops hit at any point during the day. And it becomes difficult to catch every move. The time based chart alleviates that. It's much easier to trade in minutes every day. The 195 minute, how do we settle in on that time frame? I love the daily charts, but they're just slow. You don't get a lot of setups. It's very slow to give you those movements that we're looking for. The 195-minute chart gives you 2 candles a day instead of 1. It just speeds it up for us. That way we get the frequency of trades that we're looking for. So what we were looking at here on Amazon, just take a look at this first long setup here. We had our sentiment indicator go from red to green. That was step number 1 for us on a setup. I needed 3 higher highs on the pulse indicator. We got that. And we had a candle close above our moving averages. That gave us the long setup that we were looking for. Now, the problem with Amazon, if you take a look at buying an in-the-money call option, you'll see on the trade page, it's potentially $4,000 to $5,000 per contract. It's extremely expensive, and that's why a lot of retail traders shy away from the big high flyers like Amazon, Google, Netflix. The problem with that is they're great products. They have phenomenal moves, and you want to be able to participate in that movement. Well, instead of just coming in and buying an expensive call option, what we did here is we bought the 1770, 1780 call spread for $490 per spread. For those of you that are not familiar with the vertical spreads, all I'm doing here is buying the 1770 call and selling the 1780 call at the same time. It gives me a risk-defined trade. I know what my maximum loss is right up front. It's the $490 that I'm paying to put the spread on. I also know what my maximum profit potential is right up front as well. So it's a very safe position to be in. This is a bullish position. I still want the stock to move higher, and that's exactly what happened for us. The cool part about the program here, in the past, we have managed our trades according to the stock price. We were waiting for a stock price to hit a specific target level or a stop level. Well, it takes more time to take that type of an approach. Just takes more time to check in throughout the day on your open positions. What we're doing now is we are targeting 100% returns on any type of a long call, long put, any type of a debit spread. We're targeting 100% returns there on those positions. On the risk side, we are risking 50% of whatever we pay to put the position on. So right there, we're building in criteria that's going to work in our favor. Our winners are going to be twice the size of our losers. Okay, it's a big component in why this system has been producing the profit numbers that it has. Now, you'll notice here on this chart, we had this move to the upside, and I posted here that I closed out of the trade for a $440 profit, a 90% return. Why didn't I hit the 100% return number? What caused me to get out early? Well, the reason we had to get out early, we ran into earnings. And I had to close out of the trade early because I do not like to hold positions through an earnings release. It's not in your best interest to do so. You can have a trade go from a 90% winner to a loser overnight, and I'm just not willing to take that risk. So we took the trade off a little early, still booked a 90% return. We're in and out in a couple of weeks. I mean, that's a phenomenal return. Very typical holding time for us is anywhere from 3 days on out to a month. We'll have some outlier moves from time to time that might be in and out in 24 hours. We might have some trades that go longer than a month, but that's certainly more the exception rather than the rule. So 90% return, phenomenal, especially considering it's such an expensive stock, and I only tied up less than $500 of capital. That's what gets me super excited about this system. Now, let me scroll over. I'm going to skip over this middle trade. We're going to come back to it. Don't worry. I don't want to skip over a loser. We're going to come back to it. What I want to show you is this trade that we just closed out here Monday of this week. The first trade that we talked about was a call spread. It was a bullish position. I wanted the stock to move to the upside. I've had questions come in from people lately asking, what do you think is going to happen if the market continues to move lower, if the trade war continues to intensify? What are you going to do? Are you going to go to the sidelines? Are you going to stay active? I'm absolutely going to stay active. We actually make more money in a market move to the downside because things escalate quicker. People panic, and that's a good thing for us as options traders. So what we did here on this most recent trade, we played the move to the downside. You guys have seen the market move lower here over the past week and a half. And we had our sentiment indicator go red here. We also had a candle close below our moving averages. Okay, that gave us a short trade, and we triggered it. I marked it with this white arrow here. I came in and I bought the 1915-1905 put spread for $378 per spread. I'm buying the 1915 put. I'm selling the 1905 put. Gives me a risk-defined trade, and I'm only tying up $378 of capital. I laugh at that because this is why I love to trade options. It opens up a whole new universe of products. I'm not limited to trading the cheap stocks, the cheap penny stocks. You don't have to worry about that. You can be where the action's at, regardless of your account size. Now, fortunately for us, we came down, we hit our 100% target. Again, I know where my target level is right up front. So from the moment I put that trade on, you can create a closing order immediately. You can also create a stop order immediately. So those trades are working. You can set them as GTC or good till cancel orders. That way, at any point in time where the next few days, next few weeks, if that open trade hits a target level or hits a stop level, that trade's going to be filled regardless of whether you're by your computer or not. That gives you a tremendous amount of flexibility to be active, do other things throughout the day. That's, again, how we're able to get in and out in 5 minutes a day. So a $378 profit was booked, 100% return. Again, these are phenomenal numbers, guys. All I'm doing is showing you trading one contract or one spread. If you've got a bigger account size, there is absolutely no reason why you cannot trade 4 or 5 spreads, 10, 20, 30 spreads. As long as you've got the capital, it's very easy to scale with your account. And the reason for that, these are very liquid products. That's why we like to focus on the NASDAQ. It's where the most activity is at. It's where we get the most consistent movement back and forth. These names have the biggest volume, the biggest open interest, and that's what we want to take advantage of. So many times people think of the NASDAQ as just being a tech sector or a tech index. Well, it is certainly influenced by the tech sector, but you've also got other areas in there. You've got some retail names. You've got some healthcare names in there. You've got some energy products. You can really diversify well inside of the NASDAQ, and that's why we're focused here on those NASDAQ names with our new Superstars program. Now, in fairness, as much as I love to talk about these 90% winners, the 100% winners, we're going to have losses along the way. It absolutely happens. It's part of trading. But here's why we can live with it. Let's circle back to this middle trade here. Okay, we came in, we had this white arrow, we gave it a shot on the downside. Okay, you can see my sentiment indicator went red. I had confirmation, we got short. The very next day after I got short, I was in this trade for less than 24 hours. We came up and we hit our 50% stop. It was unfortunate, it was frustrating, but I had to respect my approach. I took the loss. It was a $130 loss or a 50% loss. Here's why I'm okay with that. If I take a look at the last 3 trades, 2 winners, 1 loss. The winners, 90% and 100%. The loss, 50%. Am I up money here? I'm up hundreds of dollars per spread. As long as we keep those losses small, it takes the pressure off our winning percentage. Now, the great part about this, over the past 6 months, I am seeing an 80% win rate here with my trading. If you combine an 80% win rate with our reward to risk ratio at 2-to-1, so our winners are twice the size of our losers, that's a powerful formula there, guys. You can make that work. You can make that formula work with a far lower winning percentage. Fortunately for us, we've got both, and that's just it's a really powerful combo. Now let's take a look at some other names here. Let's zoom on over and take a look at Apple. Now everybody loves to trade Apple. It's a great product. Very, very liquid, very active. The cool part about this is the system doesn't change. I'm still using the same chart, the same 195-minute chart, same indicators. I did not change a single setting here. The only difference is I'm now looking at Apple. I came in. You can see my white arrow. It marked this short trade here. We were using our pulse indicator. We're using our sentiment indicator. We're using the moving averages. We came in and we bought the 205, 195 put spread, and we paid $220 per spread. Can you guys look at this? Can you think for a moment and see how this is very doable, even if you've got a small account size? If you've got a 6-figure account, if you're on the other end of the spectrum, you take a look at the volume and open interest in Apple, and there is no issue at all if you wanted to take this trade with 30 or 40 spreads. There's a lot of flexibility. There's something there for everybody, regardless of your experience, regardless of your account size. Pretty powerful. Now, when we put the trade on, from the moment I got filled on that entry, I was able to create my closing order for my stop and my target. I was targeting 100% return. I'm risking 50%. I get those orders in place and I let them work. At any point over the next few days, next few weeks, if those orders get filled, I'm good to go. I don't have to sit there and babysit these trades all day long. I'll check in on them periodically. but it's not something that I've got to be glued to my screen from opening to closing bell. So in this case, we booked a $220 profit, another 100% return, guys. I mean, are we going to win on every trade? No, but we're certainly seeing a really, really high winning percentage. Let's take a look at QQQ. This is the NASDAQ ETF. Mix in an ETF in here as well, just to get some additional diversification. And I also want to show how you can mix up the trade types. So far, we've been talking strictly about vertical spreads, the long call spreads, the long put spreads, and they work phenomenally well. But I am not limited to vertical spreads. If I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, just buy an individual call or a put, you can absolutely do that. And here on QQQ, we all know what the market did early this year. I mean, we had basically a straight shot to the upside for the first 4.5 months of this year. And we played that move to the upside. Again, I remember we were able to catch those big trending moves thanks to our new trend setup using the sentiment indicator. We got into this trade. We bought the 179 calls. We paid $355 per contract. Targeting 100%. Doesn't matter if I'm using an ETF or an individual stock. We're still targeting 100% on our debit spreads, on our long calls, long puts. In this case, you can clearly see we caught this really nice move to the upside. Booked a $355 profit. It's 100% return. And on all of these trades, we're in and out in a couple weeks' time. 5 minutes a day, come in, get the trades on, check the trades, let them work, and you're talking about pretty nice little supplemental income, right? You start to put on multiple spreads, multiple contracts, and you're very quickly replacing an income, right? And we've only taken a look at what, 4 or 5 trades? I mean, it's a very, very powerful approach. So with the NASDAQ Superstars program, we do like to focus in on the most active names. I've got a list of products that I have identified as the best movers, the most liquid products, and we can continue to go through chart after chart. We continue to see really great predictable patterns. Google, Netflix, Tesla, Roku. It doesn't matter the symbol, the results are there, and it's pretty darn exciting. Now, let me switch it up a little bit. So far, we've been talking about directional trades. And in fairness, the market's been moving. It's been moving great for months now. We had a big move to the upside to start the year. Now we're seeing some selling pressure over the past week and a half. What happens if the market's not always moving? What if we start to get some slow, choppy stretches? Well, look what we did here on Twitter. It's great to buy the long calls, long puts. That's what gives you the home run profit potential. It's always fun to have those, but it's not necessary. Look what we did on Twitter. We saw the big move after earnings. This is the move higher from earnings where we essentially went from 34 all the way up to 41 within a period of days. It was a phenomenal move. We were very overbought. Now, could I have come in and bought a put option because the market's overbought, just expecting it to pull back? I could have. The problem there is if you buy a put option, the only way you make money is if that stock makes a big move lower, and it does so pretty quickly. Well, I wasn't as confident in that quick move happening. I knew there was a chance that I was going to be early on the trade. So I didn't want to just get 100% bearish on this trade and buy a put. So I came in and I sold a call spread. I used a credit spread. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with the credit spread, the beauty here, we don't have the home run profit potential, but I have 5 ways of making money on the trade. And here's how it works. We sold the 40.5, 42 call spread. So I sold the 40.5 call. I bought the 42 call to make it a risk-defined trade. And I collected $41 per spread. That's the most money I can make on the trade. It only took $109 of capital per spread to put the trade on. My break-even point was at 40.91. I drew it with the horizontal white line there. I didn't care if Twitter moved up, down, or sideways. As long as it stayed below 40.91, I got to make money. So all 3 directional moves were okay to me. The only move that hurt me would have been a big move higher above that horizontal line. I also make money from time decay adding up and from volatility decreasing. Well, you can see here what happened after we hit that 41 number. Well, we kind of saw some chop kick in here. We saw a little bit of a pullback. We actually got out of this trade before this last move to the downside. We actually made money in this choppy stretch and this slight pullback. We got about a $2 move lower on Twitter. That's all I needed. And we were able to close out of this trade for 16 cents. We booked a $25 profit. Now you look at that and you're saying, you're really going to get excited about a $25 profit? You bet I am, because I had 5 ways of making money on this trade. It gives me a very high winning percentage. It allows me to make money in an uncertain, choppy market. And keep in mind, over on the side, I've got all of the other trades going. I've got the long calls, long puts. I've got the Amazon trade going, the Apple, the QQQ trades. Those are the ones that are providing the big profit potential. This one here, I might not have the home run profit potential, but I have a much higher winning percentage. And it gives me more diversification to make money in many different types of markets. And that is the missing piece for so many retail traders. So many people get so focused on the huge profit potential of buying calls and puts, and that's fun, but it doesn't always happen. Right? When you start to fill in the gaps, when you start to marry the approaches, when you start to take the long calls, long puts, the debit spreads, when you start to sprinkle in some credit spreads, that's when you're going to get the consistency in your trading. And that's what we all want. That's what we all want to see. So here I tied up $109 of capital. I made a $25 profit from a stock basically moving straight sideways. Had I put this trade on 10 times, I'm still only tying up $1,000 of capital, and now I've got $410 of profit potential from a choppy move. If you are not taking advantage of vertical spreads, whether it be a debit spread or a credit spread, you are really missing out. You really want to take advantage of these trades. Now, everything that I've showed you so far today, you're saying, man, Mike, I just don't have time to learn 3 different strategies. I can't learn the long calls, long puts, the debit spreads, the credit spreads. Some of the terminology, Mike, I don't even understand here today. The beauty is I'm going to do all the hard lifting for you. There are no indicators to download. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to look at the charts. All I do is send out the trade alerts to you each and every week. I give you exact instructions to follow. I'll tell you the exact trades that I'm taking, the highest probability trades that I am identifying. That way you can stay active in the markets, work part-time, work full-time, spend time with your family, get away from the charts, and still generate a pretty powerful income. So Mark's going to walk you through more details on how you can get access to this program. As you guys can see, there's just a ton of profit potential here. I mentioned it earlier. I'm seeing about an 80% win rate over the past 6 months, with the winners being twice the size of the losing trades. It's just the most powerful formula that you can come up with as a trader. So at this point, Mark, I'm going to throw it back on over to you, and we'll go ahead and finish the presentation and walk everybody through how they can gain access to the incredibly powerful NASDAQ Options Superstar.
Hey, thanks, Mike. That was really great. As always, I love to see that demonstration. I always like to point out, even the last one there, maybe one of my favorites, just because obviously, it's exciting when you have 70, 80, 90, 100% returns. But equally, maybe even more so, trades where you can actually do quite well in multiple outcomes, including a stock that doesn't even do much, right? I mean, it's one thing where we're expecting we need a bigger move to the upside or to the downside, and then we're going to make some really nice profit. It's a whole nother special situation when you actually have trade setups that, and a lot of people I think don't realize this with options, that you can do these type of things. So it's really just yet another strength to the system, the ability to have profitable setups in a variety of different markets and a variety of different market conditions. So what I want to talk about now is just talk about how you can start, placing these exact same trades in your account. And it all comes down to, right, you want results and you want simplicity. And I think that's what I want. I think that's pretty much what everybody here wants. Like we mentioned, we're looking for 70 to 100% returns on the calls and puts, 50 to 75% on the credit spread trades, 3 to 5 trades a week. Risk tolerance is moderate. I mean, again, that's one of the real huge advantages of trading options, is that you can really control the risk. It's very important. There's great upside, but you want to also go about this in a smart way. We keep our stops very low. We're looking for basically on average 2 to 1 reward risk ratios. So start to think about the math on that. 2 to 1 reward risk ratios. In the past, we've been seeing 80% win rate. It doesn't mean we can't guarantee that we maintain that, but we don't have to. When you have 2 to 1 reward risk, I mean, gosh, 50% win rate, you're doing pretty amazing. Imagine at 60, 70, 80, it's just that much better. Average holding time, I know there's been some questions on that, and Mike will probably answer a few more of those that you guys have sent through, but 2 days to 3 weeks tends to be about the average. That's kind of the nice thing here too. You're not day trading. You're not having to stress out about every tick, about every move. You don't need to watch these trades really at all. You can certainly check in on them, but the whole idea here is not to give you another job, not to create another responsibility. Nobody needs that right at this point. So it's a perfect complement to somebody who's already doing other more active trading. Maybe you have a full-time job, maybe you have other commitments this works alongside virtually anything that's out there. And imagine just being able to start trading and knowing that at the outset, you're going to be targeting these type of returns on investment, for instance, 100%. And what if you could do it starting tomorrow? You really can, and you could do it simply. And that's what the NASDAQ Options Superstars program is all about. So let me tell you what's included, how we actually accomplish this, how you'll be able to start trading these exact same setups and do it really straight, very simply. So you'll receive from us through a signal alert service, 3 to 5 trades per week. We found that to be the perfect sweet spot where it's not overwhelming, but it's still got enough good action for you that you've got profit opportunities every single week. We look for, like we mentioned, 100% tends to be a pretty common target for us. Sometimes we will go for more. Sometimes it'll end up being a little bit less, just depending upon the market or if some news comes out, that type of thing. But these tend to be very significant targets overall in your investment. Trades will signal off of these stocks and many others. This is just really, like I say, the tip of the iceberg. But we like to show this so you know that, yeah, I am really, truly trading the superstars on the NASDAQ. You definitely are. The ones with the amazing volatility, the great volumes, easy to execute upon, and just are reliable month in, month out. The behavior of these stocks is very dependable, and it tends to repeat itself over and over. That's why we trade this and others in the NASDAQ. This is why they really are the superstars. Now, how do we get you the alerts? So we're able to get you the alerts through some really great technology. One is the Slack, through Slack. And this is an instant messaging application that you'll be able to run on any desktop, laptop, mobile devices, Google, iPhones, iPads. It doesn't matter. You can have it on multiple devices. I mean, it's amazing. Plus, it's two-way communication. So if there's a question, you can immediately message back. Boom, you'll get an answer. So it's really a tremendous application. We'll go a little more old school these days, right? Email's a little more old school, so a little bit of backup there. But the instant messaging is fantastic. However, the thing that we're most excited about is rolling out our brand new NetPicks app. There's just a sample screenshot there. But what makes this so special is now we can dedicate this just to, right, this service. We'll be able to send you out the alerts. It'll alert you. You'll have it on your phone, on your tablet, etc. Again, you'll have two-way messaging with us. So if there's any questions, you can ask and get an answer. In addition, here we'll be able to kind of track performance, track the open picks, show you some charting, all the additional education and training. It's kind of nice to have this one home base just in the palm of your hand, wherever you are in the world. I know Mike talks about this a lot, that most of his trading these days is done off of a smartphone. It's so easy these days. These options brokers have done an amazing job with their mobile platform. So we thought, why not also have an app that you can use to get the alerts, and then you just switch over and you go ahead and place your trade. So that's in addition to the Slack instant messaging. You can have both running, you can have one running. This just so you know that you'll be getting the alerts exactly on perfect time. What will the alerts look like? Everything you need. I know that's always a concern. Like, will we tell you the profit target and the risk? We're going to tell you everything that you need to know to place these trades. And don't worry if you've never placed this type of options trade before. Like, not everybody has placed, like in this case, a put spread before. We'll go ahead and show you how you should trade that in your broker so you do it correctly and right the first time. So whether you have a lot of experience with this type of trading or very minimal or none, it's not going to be a problem, and it's certainly not difficult. Like I said, these days, the brokers do an amazing job just making options trading so simple because there's so many people doing it. So they absolutely cater to people like you. But this will be a typical alert. Everything you need to know. I mean, you'll have up front, you'll know what your ROI is. You'll know what your profit target is based upon what you pay. You're looking to double up. Hey, that's easy enough. You can place that in advance. And when the market cooperates, your trade's done and you're out. If we need to update you, we'll update you. This means also, by the way, over 12 months, you're looking at least 150 trade opportunities and up to 250 trades per year. So there's just going to be so many opportunities. However, it'll never feel that it's overwhelming. I always like to make people, understand, again, if there's any concern with terminology, options, whoever came up with all this, they came up with some crazy terminology back in the past. And it sounds sometimes like it's so academic and almost above, like, typical, what you kind of want to learn. But don't let that stop you. You kind of learn some of these words, whether it's spreads or vertical spreads, etc. It's not difficult at all. And that's what the Owners Club is all about. You guys will get access to the Owners Club right away here today. You'll be able to set up your Slack instant messaging. You'll be able to go through the basic training and you'll be good to go, and you'll start receiving the next alerts that we have. And like Mike mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, these markets are moving. So you're going to be seeing trade action pretty quick based upon the movement that we're seeing in the markets right now. So that's also all covered for you. Don't worry about that. Now, the engine behind this might be one of the most exciting things. And Mike is not a guy who's into hype. He's a very balanced guy. He's not into hyperbole. But he told me this. This is a quote. This is the most powerful options trading system I've used in my career. And that's a direct quote from Mike. And he showed you the system that he developed. The great news is you don't really have to bother with all the complexities of running this and scanning, right, hundreds of stocks. He'll do that for you, and his team will do that for you. However, just know that the engine behind this, the sentiment indicators, the pulse indicators that he's showing you that's going to drive the setups is going to be working for all of you in the background. We'll do the heavy lifting, the work, and the analysis, and you get the best of the best. You just get to act upon the trade setups that this great system is putting out for us. Now, the NASDAQ Options Superstars has some real significant edge. Think about this for a moment. Imagine if you're trading starting today, tomorrow, you've got 2-to-1 reward risk ratios on your trades. You know that you're coming into this where the last 6 months has been 80% winning trades. You know, whether we beat that or come a little short of that or match that with the 2-to-1 reward risk ratio, you know it's going to be solid. You know already that all account sizes can trade these alerts, right? We went out of our way to make sure that this is affordable for everybody, right? There's going to be trades that are less than $100 per contract or per spread. Many are just a few $100s, right? We're not looking for things where it's going to be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to put on a single contract or a single trade. However, as your account grows, you have the ability to scale with it. You can go to 2, to 3, to 4, to 5, to 10. That is not a problem at all. You're going to have the access to some of our setups, which will have 5 different ways to win. Those are pretty amazing. You'll be able to profit in all market conditions. This is important because markets are changing, right? The end of last year, 2018, right? It was like this out of nowhere bear market. And then we rallied in, after the start of the new year. And then just recently we had another one of these sharp drops over just a few days. And now we're, rallying back again. I mean, there's a lot going on right now in the markets, but don't let that be a concern. Be excited about that because that is creating just numerous opportunities for us. And perhaps most important of all of this, and you can do all of this in just a few minutes per day. Pretty exciting. We have the best support in the business. I am positive to this. We've been doing this for 23 years concurrently, right? We've never stopped since 1996. We're available on the phone. We're available via email, via chat, whatever the case may be. Two-way messaging, right? We're actually giving you the ability to message back to us and get immediate answers. I mean, that's one of the really nice benefits of this program as well. So we're definitely with you every step of the way. Plus, we're in the markets along with you. So we thought, what should we charge for the NASDAQ Options Superstars? At first, we thought, a monthly subscription, that should work. $297 is still worth it. I mean, you're getting 12 to 20 great trades that are researched per month, each with up to 100% returns possible. I mean, that's a hell of a deal when we're doing all of the work in the background. But I don't know, that sounded good, but it didn't really sound good enough, in really particular to me, when we're doing a brand new launch. So then we thought, people love like a one-time payment. So how about we give them 12 months, which normally would be $35.64. That's pretty high over 12 months. What if we discounted it down to $29.97? Still an amazing value, is 20% lower, and that's less than $297 a month. And I think you guys can see it's well worth that. It sounds good, but I know that's not going to be really achievable, or for some people it's just going to be too high. So we thought, this is a brand new launch. What can we do that's extra special? You know us, we always like to bring you something that's going to be really the best that we can give you. So we thought, okay, the 12-month, that makes the most sense, but maybe can we kind of, for a new launch, drop it down? So we thought, what if we dropped it down to $14.97? Give 1 full year of access, save 58%, have complete access to everything, and that to me is a great price and the price that we should go at. But one additional thing, and Mike kind of brought this up to me, is like, this is Netpeak's family. This is a first launch, right? This is going to change in the future, but we're only inviting in our family. And we always like to give a family discount. So we thought, all right, that's fair enough. What can we do? And what extra thing can we do only during this presentation? So we decided, let's bring it down to $997, 1 full year of access, over 150 trade setups, two-way, right, messaging back and forth, everything we said, save 72%, and you've got these trades in your hands. We thought, okay, now this is a killer deal. So we decided that this is where we're going to go with. And when you think about it, 3 months at $297, actually at this point, it's going to pay for an entire year for all of you. So just $997. Now we did want to make sure that we made a quarterly option available, and so we set that at $397 just in case that's more achievable or in reach for all of you. But I would stress, go for the annual because you're going to save $591 over the quarterly. But I wanted to at least make this opportunity available to everybody who's listening here today. So think about this: at the $997, that's costing you about $5 per trade. I mean, barely more than a Starbucks coffee, and you've got trades that are set up to double when we put those out, and you're going to be getting opportunities week in and week out for the next 12 months. Pretty amazing. A few dollars, right? And we've done all the work for you. Think about all the work we're doing for you, all the time that we're spending, and you guys just to get the real benefit, which is placing the trades and profiting from those trades. I think you probably would all agree, right? The return on investment should be quite quick. It doesn't take more than a handful of trades to pay for an entire year with this service. Now, I want to always make some really special bonuses for my webinar attendees. So number one, we're going to offer you 2 free extra months. So we're going to tack on an additional 2 months. Now you get 14 months. All right, it's $297 a month is the value. $594 back in your pocket. Why not take advantage of 2 extra months? I mean, when you think about that, that could be 20 extra or even 24 extra trades. That's a lot of opportunities over those 2 months that you will not have to pay for. The catch is, of course, you do need to enroll during this presentation in order to get this special bonus. All right, so get yourself enrolled now, save 72%, pretty amazing. Get the 2 extra bonus months. The link is now officially on the screen, but you have to go ahead and get yourself enrolled to take advantage of all of the deals that we're showing you here. I'm going to type in right now, just in case you want it, into the chat area. That'll be a clickable link. Otherwise, very simple in your browser. Just type in netpix.com/NOS. That stands for NASDAQ Options Superstars, as you can imagine, and you'll be off to the races getting yourself enrolled. All right, a couple more things that I wanted to make sure that we covered. We've mentioned the bonuses that are available right now. Those are live. Let me remind you of everything that you are receiving. Also, I'm sharing the quarterly link on the screen there. So if that's better for you and you want to do quarterly, it's just NOS quarterly, as you can see at the bottom of the page. But to remind you, remember, with this enrollment for an entire year, you're going to get 3 to 5 trades per week, targeting 70 to 100%. You're going to get exclusive access to the NetPix brand new app. You're going to get access to our Slack channel, which has messaging and support built in. You're going to get private Owners Club access, which gives you all of the getting started training, our amazing support. We're going to be with you every step of the way. And everybody, this thing is simple. There's no learning curve. Learning curve's gone. Go through some basic training. You're going to be taking these trades pretty much as soon as we start alerting those. So as soon as the market gives us a setup, you're going to get them and you're going to be able to start implementing. If you don't have your brokerage open yet or anything, no problem. In the Q&A, I'm sure we'll start talking brokers a little bit. Really easy to set up. And you don't have to worry about charting and running data and indicators and all the complexities. If you're already doing that in other systems, that's great. Continue doing that, but this will not add a whole other set of responsibility. This is not going to be another job that you're going to have to basically attend to. It works perfectly and fits side by side with anything else. Now, this is a screenshot of the Owners Club. Let me explain what happens when you enroll here today. You'll get 2 emails from us. One email will be a welcome email from Mike. It's got great information, just kind of walking you through what to expect here in the near term. The second email will come, and this will have your login link and a username and password that's just for you. And that link will take you to this Owners Club where you'll be able to set up your instant messaging, where you'll be able to see the instructions on setting up the app upon release, where you'll get information on options brokers, how to trade. Everything that you need will be here. So that will happen soon after you enroll. If for some reason you don't see these emails in the next few minutes, then just look in your spam or your junk mail. It happens sometimes. Make sure that you move it into your inbox. Move it out of promotions. If you're in Gmail, into the inbox. Make sure you whitelist it because Mike will be sending updates and alerts also through email. You do not want to miss those. So definitely don't miss those from us. All right, the clock is ticking. That's no joke. In order to maximize and take advantage of the bonuses that I've discussed here during the webinar, you do need to enroll during the webinar. And I want you to take advantage of those because why not save a lot of money on our behalf, right? Sounds good, and you guys definitely should do that. I've even got one extra bonus coming here in just a moment or two that I'll share with you, but the links are there on the screen, as you can see. Now, let me give you also a money-back performance guarantee. We're completely 100% confident that this is going to work and it's going to work great. All you guys got to do really is just execute the trades. And look, when we sold systems, and we still do, then it's a little different because then I'm kind of like, well, will the person download it? Will they install it? Will they run it? Will they not run into tech issues? With this program, you don't have to worry about any of that. So this is a pretty stellar guarantee. I'm going to guarantee you that over the next 12 months that you're going to see a 500% or more, and I think you're going to blow this away, return on investment based upon what you're paying here today for the NASDAQ Options Superstars. If not, you can request it and we will give you a 100% refund. That's a 5x return, and actually we think you're going to do far better. Why? Because as your account grows, you may start with a single contract or spread, but as that account grows, I expect you to start to leverage up. You'll start trading 2, then 3, then 5. Why not? Right? You can actually use less percentage risk, but still grow your position size, and it takes no additional work at all. So it will not surprise me after a year. We'll be hearing I 10x, I 20x, I 30x. It's going to be very, very possible. All you need to do is just follow the signals, follow the alerts, get started, take the trades. But that guarantee is there for you to make sure that you know that we absolutely stand behind this, and it's going to perform here for you over the next 12 months. Again, all inclusive, streamlined, simplicity. I decided that, I'm going to put a price tag on what I think each is worth based upon what I know the market, what other people charge for things. And so I went ahead and I listed everything off, and you can see I came up with $5,455, which it's worth that and every penny because of the ROI that we're going to see, the amount of work that goes into something like this. But we're selling it and offering it here today at a fraction of that, really 1/5 of what I think the total value is. And this is a price point that you will not be seeing again as we move forward when we start to offer this outside to the general public. Now, I did want to give you one additional big bonus that I promised, and what we're going to look to do is we kind of figure that our price point ultimately is going to be $19.97. That's all of our competition. That's where they typically are at for a 12-month. So we figured we'll step it up to $14.97 and then $19.97. However, anybody here who subscribes here today, enrolls today, we're going to lock in for you year 2, year 3, etc., at that same $9.97 price. You're not going to have any price increases. As long as you stay an active member, you will never, we guarantee it, have a price increase on the NASDAQ Options Superstars. So pretty amazing. That's an additional bonus that I just wanted to share with everybody here today. So take advantage of that and know, because you're going to want to keep taking these trades after 12 months. That's not going to be enough for you, right? If you're making money, you're going to want to keep making money. Your account's grown a lot over those 12 months. You want the next 12 months. This is a great opportunity to do that. So let me put up on the screen some contact information. Hey, email us. Email Mike personally. Email our general support. Call us. We don't care. We're here for you. We've been here for 23 years. We're going to be here for many more years. We're really excited about that. The links are on the screen. What I want to do now is let me bring Mike back into the conversation, and he's probably got some questions and answers to cover as well. But make sure you get enrolled now before we finish this QA, because once that's over, then some things go away. All right, Mike, come on in the microphone.
Yeah, sure thing. So great questions, great feedback. Really appreciate the interaction, guys. Just saw a couple questions come in. A couple of you are having difficulty with the links. We've got a ton of people going to those links right now. So give it another shot. They are working on my side. I just checked them. So try it again. If you're having any difficulties, certainly let us know. Give us a call, send us an email. We will absolutely have a spot reserved for you. A couple of the common questions. Let's talk about how time sensitive are the alerts. Do I have to be by the computer all day? Do I have to be available all day? You do not. Because we're swing trading, the best part about this is you're going to have multiple opportunities to catch most trades. When I send out an alert, I will always give you a range of prices that we're willing to get filled in. In most cases, you're going to have a period of hours or even days to get filled. I've had trades here recently where I see the setup. I don't get filled for 2 days and it's still okay. So there's really not a time sensitivity in most cases. We may have an outlier move every once in a while where you get a headline to hit and the market makes a big move, but again, that's very much the exception rather than the rule. As far as brokers go, the two most popular brokers that our students use are Tastyworks and TD Ameritrade. I highly recommend that you consider using Tastyworks. They're a newer broker here over the last year and a half or so. Their platform is phenomenal, but their commission rates are even better. They charge a flat $1 per contract commission, but they only charge to get into a trade. They do not charge to get out of a trade. So you're only paying on one side. It's a huge cost savings. And they also cap their commissions at $10 per trade or $10 per leg on a spread. So really big cost savings compared to many other brokers out there. TD Ameritrade is great. You're going to pay a little bit more for the commissions, but their platform is phenomenal. I love it. I use it in my own trading every day for my charting. So either one of those, you can't go wrong. If you have any questions on that or need more direction, feel free to send me an email. I'm more than willing to help out there. John asking, will the alerts be sent by email? Yes. So we will email the alerts out. We provide them inside of the private Slack group that Mark showed you here a few moments ago. And then we will also be providing them in our Netflix app as well, that you can put on any type of a mobile device. Linda, any concerns that a large number of subscribers to the service may impact pricing? Now, that's really a big reason why we like to trade the NASDAQ products. The names that we covered today, the names that Mark showed earlier in the spreadsheet, these are the most liquid products in the world. You're not going to have any problems getting filled. Now, if all of us start trading 100 contracts, then sure, that's a different story. But knowing the size of most retail traders, I track it very, very closely. I only want to trade products I know we're all going to be able to get filled on. I track it closely, and it's just not an issue on any of the products that we trade.
Mike, there was a question on, the app, the Netflix app. It'll be available on iPhone and Android, correct?
That is correct. Both of them will be perfectly fine.
Yeah, and your intent is to send it on both the Slack and the Netflix app when that's out?
Yeah, exactly. Both they're really valuable. Slack is just a great way to not only see the alerts, but it also gives you a way to communicate with us one-on-one, but also with your fellow members. I think it's a great way to build that community. We've got some really phenomenal traders as part of our group, and it's a great way to communicate with people trading the same markets, taking the similar positions as you. And I know for me, it's very valuable to have that interaction with other people. So no, we only trade, options only trade between 9:30 and 4. There's a few exceptions. Some of the index products trade till 4:15. But we like to place and manage our trades during the regular market hours. We do not do anything pre-market. You can do a lot of your research ahead of time, but when it comes to actually placing orders and managing trades, you'll want to do that between 9:30 and 4 Eastern.
And Mike, I guess a question from Wayne on Apple and earnings.
Yeah, so we do our best to avoid earnings. For me personally, I do not like to hold long calls, long puts through earnings. There may be a rare situation where if I'm in a risk-defined trade, my risk is very small, I'm willing to hold through an earnings release, but that's certainly more the exception rather than the rule. In most cases, it's going to be in our best interest to avoid earnings. Dividends, I don't really worry about dividends unless I have a credit spread on. If I am short a call spread and my short call strike is in the money, then I'll have to get out before the dividend. That way I don't get caught with assignment risk and have to worry about paying the dividend. But again, that does not happen all that often, and we watch it closely. So you'll always know whenever I'm entering a position, anytime that I'm closing out of a position, you guys will always know immediately everything that we do on our side. Donna, do you need a margin account to trade spread? Yes, you do. Even though we don't trade on margin, we don't use it, it is required to trade spread. So you will want to have access to a margin account. Most brokers require between a $3,000 and a $5,000 minimum account size for margin. So yes, definitely want to go that route.
Randy wants to know there, Mike, how much will you share over time? I guess you'll probably share some on how the signals are generated.
We certainly will. I'm more than willing to share in more detail, what goes into a set. That way you feel confident in what we're doing. But this is not designed to be a trade system where you've got to download indicators and spend hours a day doing this. It's really meant to be a done for you service where we're doing the hard lifting for you.
Yeah, that's a big difference. I mean, we'll listen, we'll kind of hear what people say on feedback, how much they really want to get into the weeds, but you may start questioning, why do you even want to get into the weeds on this type of thing? Because it can get quite complicated. So I think that's going to be one of the huge benefits. Well, it is really one of the huge benefits overall. So we're still getting a few final questions. You guys have been amazing, very active group, so some really great questions. A lot of people have gotten on board, which is exciting to see. We're really looking forward to sharing all this with everybody here. Kind of like the last call out to take advantage of the enrollment. You've got the links there on the screen. If there were any issues, we'll sort through them here today, this afternoon. You've got the emails and the phone numbers there, and we'll start to reply back to everybody and get it all sorted out. So no fears, no worries on that. I think, Mike, any closing comments for everybody before we start to wind this down?
No, just again, another big thank you to everybody for joining us today and for all the great questions and interaction. It makes it so much better for us as presenters when we have great interaction. So thank you for that. Welcome to everybody that did join. Really looking forward to working with you in the months to come. If there's anything that we can do to help out, let us know and we'll be in touch right away.
Great. Thanks so much, Mike. Great presentation. Really, thank you for coming up with this product. I'm just really excited about it. So it's just pretty fun to make this available for the first time. And like Mike said, we appreciate everybody who's enrolled here today, but we appreciate everybody who's joined us, even if hopefully you've learned something or it's opened your eyes a little bit to the opportunities with options. If we've at least done that, then I think we've done our job. So again, thank you so much to everybody. Have a great day, great trading, and we'll talk to all of you soon.